Isaiah chapter 43 verses 18 to 19. No need to remember past events, to harp on what was done before. Look, I am about to do something new. Now it is springing up. Can you not see it? I am making a road in the desert and rivers in the wastelands. And Revelation chapter 21 verses 4 and 5. He will wipe away all tears from their eyes. Look, I am making everything new. These were the verses that struck me this morning from this morning's morning prayer readings, and I'd actually already noted them in my spiritual journal to reflect on in more detail later, before the breaking news this morning of the approval and the rollout of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. This is good news in the midst of what has often been bad news. And this brings hope in times of despair, and it does indeed shine a light in the darkness. In the Isaiah verses, it says of the exiles in Babylon that there is no need to remember those past events, that the Lord is now doing something new. He is making a way, a road in the wilderness, and that one day, at the end of time, the Revelation verses tell us that the Lord will create a new heaven and a new earth. And there'll be no more sorrow, no more tears, and no more dying. And that is the best hope that any of us can have. And that is the hope of what we look at in Advent. But we are still living in the here and now. We have hope, we have good news, and we do have a light that shines in the darkness. And that is Jesus, God incarnate, who came down to earth, who was born into a hopeless, dark and despairing world. But it didn't change overnight. There was no magical moonshot jab. Jesus was to live in the struggles of this human life for another 33 years. He experienced what we experience as humans before he was tortured and executed on the cross, where hope seemed to then have been snuffed out. And yet on that first Easter morning, the light of the empty tomb shone a never-ending hope down through the ages. Hope that we today can believe in. These are still undoubtedly still dark times. Sadly and tragically, there will still be some more deaths from COVID-19. And there is mourning, and there will be tears and grief. The economic impacts, and especially around the news over the last few days of thousands of job losses, will have a longer term effect, especially on mental health, which needs to be our priority. But there is that pinprick of hope of the vaccine, and there is a hope and a light that will grow bigger and shine brighter in our lives. Let the hope of the birth and the resurrection shine in your lives this Advent and Christmas. This is the good news that millions and millions of people who profess a Christian faith believe across the world. Remember the past events, but don't dwell there in exile. Look and see and take the road out of the wilderness into new lives filled with hope that the Lord is preparing. Amen.